many of my clients, raise questions around this area, is that is it, the concept of round pegs for square holes, saying that is there a fitment for every individual? So saying that a guy who's good at HR should only be good at HR, somebody who's good at business development should only be handling business development. Or can a competent guy with basic skills and a level of intelligence can move across into different roles and probably excel in all the roles? I have a slightly different take on this issue. I believe that, people don't just perform a role, they get fulfilled in a role. So getting fulfilled in a role is a very, very important thing that you need to understand. You're not just performing a role, you're playing out your destiny. You're playing out your purpose in this life in doing what you're doing. And invariably, people are better at certain things and they're likely to excel better at certain things, depends upon their proclivity, their drives, than in other things. So you're doing, as an HR manager, you're perhaps doing a disservice if you're not putting the right person at the right place, because you're disallowing that person to live out his destiny and bring out the best that he has to offer. So this concept of putting the right people at the right job can be better explained through this very interesting book that I read called Selling the Wheel. So this book says that an organization is shaped by 4 kinds of individuals. And these 4 individuals are described as a closer, a builder, a connector, and a captain of the crew. So at the beginning of any organization or beginning of any industry, when the technology is new, you need a closure kind of a guy. So closer is this flashy guy who he enjoys selling new concepts, new technology, but he gets really worked up in case he needs to do operations or do something else. Because that's what he is, that's what his proclivity or that's what his basic drive is, to sell new concepts. So he enjoys it as long as there's a new concept to be sold, but moves on moment the concept becomes slightly tried and there are more players in the industry, it becomes slightly more difficult to sell the product because there are more players, people have understood this concept, it is not that much exciting for him. But while he's selling the product, he makes certain promises which probably could be slightly more, let's say slightly more exaggerated than the reality. But that's his true nature. He's a business development guy. He loves to sell. He excels in B2B sales. So moment this guy has sold and gone off, because now this concept is not that exciting for him, he needs to move on. There is a requirement for an organization of a person called a builder. Builder is a guy who acts as a conduit between the organization who's bought this product and the operations. So there could be some gaps in how the product was sold by the closer, but builder comes and bridges this gap. He has a great understanding of both the operations and a decent enough understanding of client relationships as well. So that's the evolution of the organization and the requirement of that individual. But after a while, when the organization is developed, the industry has matured, there is a lot of competition in the market, a lot of people are offering very, very similar products. Then because sales, there is very little product differentiation between what A company has to offer from B company, is the personality of the salesperson that comes to the fore. And it's the relationships that become very, very important. That's where a connector becomes the need of the hour. So connector is not a flashy guy like the closer, but he also excels in B2B sales. But his style is very different. He's a guy who's always there. He's always there for the client. He continues maintaining the relationship irrespective of the fact that he's not getting any business. But what happens is, since he is at the doorstep of the client on a regular basis, he is in motion. The law of dynamic providence comes into effect. And he also often gets business over other people because he's withstood this relationship without expecting anything, and he's continued to show up at the door. As Woody Allen would say it, 80% of success is actually just showing up. So that is the need of the hour at that moment, given the evolution of the industry. Then finally, when the industry has really matured and there's a large workforce to be managed, it's a factory setup, there's large distribution channels to be managed, there's production to be taken care of, There is so many other aspects which require large teams for things to happen. And that's where you need captain of the crew. This guy is great at people management. He might not be a great salesperson. He's not fantastic at operations either, but he's great at motivating and managing people. And he does that admirably. So not every individual, would have been able to do all the roles, all the different roles, because their proclivity or their nature is different. But they excelled in their roles, and that was the need of the hour, or that's important, because an organization is a bunch of activity that it does to perform eventually to achieve its objective.